Yeah, sure. So I think a Swiss Army knife is a really it's a very popular device in the real world. So it's often kind of a bad metaphor because people like them. But a Swiss Army knife is a collection of marginally useful tools whose only real utility comes from the fact that it's relatively cheap to carry them all together, if you like. So if you know, and to tease that out, like if you got into a knife fight and you pulled out a Swiss Army knife, it's not going to be that useful to the guy who actually has a knife. If you are hosting a dinner party and someone needs to open a bottle of wine and you pull out a Swiss Army knife, it's not going to be as elegant as the rest of the elements of your dinner party. The point being that like a knife, if you're optimizing for a knife fight, you're talking about like a long serrated blade. If you're optimizing for a dinner party, you're talking about a classy, elegant wine opener. Where the opposite of a Swiss Army knife to me is a scalpel. So a scalpel is a single purpose tool that's easy to create, easy to test, easy to explain, easy to adopt, and it's very, very clear what it does. It's very clear when it's not working. And so the point I would make to a lot of people who are working on new features or new products, or even starting new companies, is there is a massive overhead to trying to start off with a Swiss Army knife. To trying to start off with you have to build so many unrelated tools and then create this platform that they all sit on. In contrast to say starting with a single purpose tool that if you can't get adoption for that, there's no point in building the rest of it. You're not going to mediocre your way to success. So the great thing about a scalpel is that you'll know pretty quickly if your scalpel is working, and you'll know if you can sell your scalpel or if people want the scalpel or what the market for a scalpel is. So I always encourage people when they're planning a new feature. I'm like, right, well, let's start by one thing we know people are trying to do, and let's build a tool for that. And if we can't solve that problem, we're not going to make up for it in bloat. So that for me is the key difference between the two.